A few weeks ago, I had what I thought was a very genius idea. I've been wanting to do a deeper dive of Greek mythology for a while now, and then I remembered that I was going to the Bahamas. And if I can't read about gods and monsters and epic voyages in ancient Greece in Greece itself, the Bahamas is a pretty solid alternative. Same vibes. So what started as me wanting to read the Odyssey before the movie comes out has turned into a stack of books. I tend to be an all or nothing type of person, and I feel like that kind of sums up what's happening here. For years, I have loved Greek mythology inspired stories like Lore Olympus and Hades Town, the Broadway musical, and I'll say it, Hercules, but I haven't really taken the time to explore the mythology itself. So for the next couple of weeks, the plan is to read 4 Greek mythology books. So hi, hello, welcome to my Greek mythology era. First up is a reread. We are kicking things off with Lore Olympus. Like I said, I've read this before. I actually read this when my daughter was a newborn. So this series is near and dear to my heart. I read them all when they were on Webtoon. So I got them from the library, but then if I was up in the middle of the night with my daughter, I would just like put it on my phone and I would read. For anyone who doesn't know, this is a graphic novel and it's a modern retelling of Hades and Persephone, which if anyone doesn't know, Hades is the god of the underworld and Persephone is the goddess of spring. In Greek mythology, she becomes the goddess of the underworld. I don't really know much about the original story other than that. I'm interested to see this journey because I love retellings of Greek mythology, but from what I can remember of times that I have tried to understand the backstories of things, Greek mythology is like the Wild West, and I don't always like it because it's so intense. So I will be learning more about actual Greek mythology as we continue on, but I wanted to start with a fun little reread that I already know I'm gonna love. That's a fun time, a quick read to really get the momentum going. I have started this already. I'm like, oh, that's way further than I thought. I have this vision of me sitting in my favorite hammock here at my parents' house and just finishing it. I just feel like that's totally a vibe. Just like sitting in the hammock, finishing the book. Let's talk about Lore Olympus. I finished this yesterday. It is just such a fun time, especially the artwork in this is just unreal. It's beautiful, but it's interesting because Olympus, or like the world that the gods live in, is actually modern day today. And then when they visit the world, like the earth where humans are, it's like ancient Greece. So it's really cool to see because it's modern but not modern. I love the characters, especially obviously we're mostly following Hades and Persephone, but it is a big cast of characters and it's really interesting. I will say, while this is very fun and colorful and I love it and would recommend it, I would check the trigger warnings because there are some pretty serious things in here. So I don't want anyone to be surprised by those. This is very much the beginning. This literally takes place over the course of a couple of days. So I am just jonesing for the next one. It's such a fun way to break up reading, to have like a quick, you can read it in one sitting or a couple of sittings read. That's beautiful artwork and interesting storylines. I just really enjoyed it. This was a great time. I loved getting to finish it in the hammock. That really was such a vibe. And I can't wait to get the rest of them from the library and just keep on trucking. But alas, I don't have any more of them here. So it is time to pick up the next book, which is Mythos. Like I said, I don't know a ton about Greek mythology, so I'm really looking forward to this one. From what I know, it's basically Greek mythology 101, which is really what I need to kind of give me a baseline understanding of what's going on, which I think will give a really cool framework to better understand the other books in this video. I'm looking forward to doing some learning on this vacation. So let's get into book number 2, Mythos. I gotta run because we're going to lunch, but I was just listening to Mythos while getting ready. I am not good at multitasking. I don't know why I decided I wanted to try and do this. Okay, no, I can't do this. I was just getting ready and listening to the next book, Mythos, and it's so fun. It literally feels like being told about the Greek myths by your friend who knows all the stories but is just telling them to you. Like, here's what happened. And it's so fun because I'm learning so much, but it's so accessible. So I'm really enjoying it. Okay, I want to do a fit check. You're literally resting on some bananas right now. Just so everyone knows, I am an outfit repeater like nobody's business. So if you see me in the same outfits in multiple videos, mind your business. It is just so interesting. Like, I just read about Atlas and Kronos and how Atlas, from him came, you know, the map, the Atlantic Ocean, and then from Kronos came chronology, like time, and he also became the Grim Reaper. So earlier there was a story about how he used a sickle. I won't get into it because it's pretty graphic. He used a sickle to punish his father, and now after the Titan War, like the Clash of the Titans, Zeus defeated him, and then his punishment is that he basically has to like walk the earth in exile, counting up to infinity forever and ever and ever, which is how we get chronology and just like anything to do with time. But also he's the one counting our minutes until the end of our life, and then he comes with his sickle, the Grim Reaper, Father Time. It's just so interesting. Literally so much of the world is shaped by these myths. My mom cut my hair yesterday. Doesn't it look so good? Everyone say good job, Yvonne, in the comments. I am currently halfway through Mythos, so I wanted to give a little update. You can tell that Stephen Fry is very intelligent. He wrote in the foreword how he was introduced to Greek mythology at a relatively young age, and that he wants Greek mythology to be accessible to people, and that you do not have to be intellectual to be able to understand it, but you can tell that he's intellectual. And like I said in my intro, Greek mythology is the wild, wild west. That is true. I like the way that he writes about it because he makes it kind of like cheeky and funny, even if some of the things that happen are like horrific, you know, because there was no morals yet, really. Zeus is just fathering all these children with females that are both willing and unwilling, which is horrifying. But he writes it in such a way that acknowledges that it's messed up. So I don't feel the need to be like, that's so messed up. I'm like, oh, okay, he gets it. That's messed up. I have also noticed quite a few parallels between some of these stories and ACOTAR. And I know that she has drawn some inspiration from Greek mythology. For anyone who doesn't know, the first ACOTAR book is a Beauty and the Beast retelling, and the second book is supposed to be like a Hades and Persephone retelling. So I already knew that she had an understanding, but I didn't. So now reading some of these things and seeing the parallels, I'm like, oh, it's kind of like little Sarah J. Maas Easter eggs. I am loving this book. I'm loving learning, but also being entertained, because the Wild Wild West, guys, I don't know how else to explain it. Hello. So I've gotten a little bit further in Mythos, but today is the day. I had this, again, me with my visions. I had this vision of me sitting down and reading this next book in one sitting, and today is the day. Everybody else went on the boat except for me, my mom, and my daughter. My daughter is down for her quiet time right now. This is the time. The next book is Galatea. As you can see, it is a short story. It's written by Madeline Miller, who, for anyone who doesn't know, wrote Circe and Song of Achilles. I know that those are very beloved. I have not read them, but I know that she's amazing at what she does. So I thought this would be a nice way to dip my toe into her writing and also to keep the momentum going on. You know, it's a limited vacation. I didn't want to bombard myself with too many thick volumes, and I have 2 really thick volumes. What I know about this is that it is about a man who sculpts a beautiful woman out of stone and then wishes for her to come to life, and she does. This is 50 pages, but of this. I ordered this online and thought that it was bigger. I knew it was a short story, thought it was bigger. When this came, I was like, well, thank goodness it was half off, because that's really small. But I'm really looking forward to it. Like I said, it is ideal conditions. The time is now. I'm gonna go down to the beach and knock this out. It's only 50 pages. It won't take me that long to read. So let's go do it. This feels very official to be sitting here. Am I too far away? That's too close, right? I did it! Anyone who is a parent will know that actually being able to do the fun thing by yourself that you wanted to do is always a win. So I am feeling really good that I was able to sit down there. It literally lasted the amount of time that it took me to read this before my mom called me that my daughter needed me. So I would say I was down there for about 45 minutes. It took me about 30 minutes to read this. And I gotta say, I didn't really like it. I think it was an interesting idea. And I read the afterword where she explained. So for context, she got her inspiration from the story The Pygmalion, where Pygmalion is horrified by how women are these days. And he creates his own sculpture of a woman, then asks the gods to make it come to life. And Venus hears his wish and makes the statue into a woman who becomes his wife. They have a child together. And the story just kind of ends there of happily ever after. But then she read it and was like, okay, the woman isn't even named. And it's very much of the idea that we don't hear anything about what she thinks or what she wants. And so therefore it's happily ever after, but kind of from his perspective. So this leans into that and makes the man who in this story is called, does he have a name in this? Oh my gosh. Did she do a little switcheroo? Whoa, she did the switcheroo. The husband, the man. But the whole thing is that he is abusive. Like he's a terrible person and she has to play along with whatever it is that he wants. I don't know. It was the point is that it was horrifying, but it was horrifying, you know, like of him hurting her. And so I don't know. I think I've just been reading a lot of really wholesome things lately, or things that are nice to read, or adventures, or kind of like uplifting. I don't really have critiques for it other than it was jarring. That was the point. And it was horrifying. That was the point. It was sad. That was the point. So, I mean, she did everything she wanted to do, and all I can say is it wasn't really my cup of tea. So that's all I really have to say about that. So this goes on the stack, and that brings us to the final book that I will be starting here. Drum roll, please. The Odyssey by Homer. I did reference this at the beginning of the video, so you probably saw it coming, but this is actually what got me onto my Greek mythology kick. I'm really excited for the movie, to be honest. The all-star cast, directed by Christopher Nolan. I wanted to read both the Iliad and the Odyssey before, but I ran out of time. So I'm gonna read the Odyssey, and if I really like it and want to continue, then I'll go back and read the Iliad. So for anyone who doesn't know, because I didn't know before looking into it, because this is an ancient text, like this is one of the oldest pieces of literature that we have, it's been translated by a bunch of different people. There are 3 main translators that people tend to recommend. There are more than just those 3, but they're kind of like the big 3. This is, I think, the most recent one, Emily Wilson. After looking into it, doing some of my own research, it seems like hers is kind of the best of both worlds in terms of sticking to the original storyline and vibes. And I also heard that hers is the most emotionally connected to the characters, which I guess some people have critiqued her for doing more interpretation than translating, but you know what? I kind of like that thing. Like if I'm going to read this story, I want to feel a little more emotionally connected to the characters. I don't really care if it's her take on it. I'm all for it. I'm on board. So I'm excited to read this. I don't know if I'll be able to finish this whole thing before I go home. It is 525 pages. We are here for 3 more days. And the rest of my family is coming today. From here on out, it's going to be like party weekend. So I don't know how much I'm going to read. But I also think that that's really special because the Odyssey is about coming home. So I think it's kind of fun. I can start it here and then finish it when I go home. I just love things like that. It's like poetic.
Jaybird singing something about the way things used to be. Now I'm dancing on a wire like a cheap paper tiger, strumming on a heartstring stereo to a song that no one knows, and it goes like this. Hey, hey, yeah, said it goes like this. Say la vie, oh, don't ask me, 'cause it goes like this. Yeah.
Hello, it's been a minute since I've done a reading update. We are home now. I am about 40% through the Odyssey. I finished Mythos, so I figured we'd just do a little recap here. I'm about to go into the library to do some editing and some uninterrupted reading. So I finished Mythos. I loved it. It was so cheeky. The Greek myths are ridiculous. They're scandalous, they're intense, and I love the way that Stephen Fry presented it all in Mythos. Like, the best way I can describe it is that it's cheeky and educational. Like, that is just like the best tagline, I think, for the whole book. I gave it 4 stars, and as I was reading Mythos, I also read the rest of Lore Olympus. Like, there are 11 volumes of books. Read them all. I was a woman possessed. They are just so fun. It was just so fun. Each volume only takes 3 hours to read. And so every night I was just like reading a whole volume, and it was very fun. It was a very fast-paced story. I just wanted to keep reading that story. And I will say, reading Mythos and that at the same time was so interesting because you get this retelling that's fun and modern, and I was also getting the actual stories of what inspired these characters. It was just a peak reading experience, not gonna lie. So I'm about 40% done with the book. The movie came out this week, so I really want to read this and go watch it in IMAX. My whole algorithm right now on YouTube is the Odyssey interviews. Like, I am just so excited. My experience so far, I have to have my thinking cap on when I'm reading it, but it's so easy to understand. And also, the first 100 pages are an introduction and translator's note. The introduction read like you had to write a paper in school, here's my opinion, and then backing it up with some of the source material. Even reading some of the introduction, I was like, oh, I think that's maybe a stretch about some of her opinions on the characters or the storyline, but I do think it was still worth reading because it gave me a really nice framework to go in to kind of lay the groundwork for me that I could then go in and be like, and now what do I think? So I kind of liked that, and I really liked her translator's note. She ended with like the most beautiful call to action. I guess that's what I would call it. I'm really enjoying it. There's some really beautiful quotes in here, and yeah, I feel like I've yapped enough about it. And I love these deckled edges. Some people have said they hate deckled edges, like they give them the ick, but that is not the case for me. I think they're dope. Nothing says 9:30 in the morning like going to war. Oh gosh. Oh my gosh. We're finally going to see the Odyssey! The only time that we could go that worked with my parents being able to watch our daughter and actual availability in the theaters was 9:30 in the morning on a Sunday. What do you know about it going into it?
Zeus is the god of hospitality.
There you go.
It's Odysseus' story. And he has a son named Atticus.
Dang, that was really close. Telemachus.
He goes on a boat and he's gone for a long time. and his wife tries to get taken by other guys. And he's like, hell nah. He goes back to killing.
Hey, been paying attention. Been giving you my reading updates.
That's right.
You know I love that. I have my little twinkle drink. I'm drinking a peach iced tea. It's been my little afternoon pick-me-up this summer. Well, that was a fun month. The whole month of July turned into reading Greek mythology, and may I just say, what a beautiful use of free will. I had a great time. It was a peak reading experience. So let's wrap things up. I finished the Odyssey and we went to see the movie. It is just so cool to me that this story has been around for thousands of years and has literally laid the framework for storytelling as we know it. I really like this translation. I have nothing to compare it to, but I would recommend it. Both Emily Wilson and Christopher Nolan have said that they wanted to make this story more accessible to the masses, as it would have been when it was first told. Like, this was not made for the high and lofty, this was made for the common people. Ancient Greece was not a fully literate society, so a lot of their storytelling was through oral tradition and bards. So this is a collection of those stories, but it was written for everyone. So both of them have said how their goal was to translate that for a modern audience today, so that it would be as accessible to us today, the common person today, as it was to the common person in ancient Greece. And I genuinely think both of them did that. Emily Wilson did it in the sense that you could read the story, follow along, understand what's happening. She also had book summaries in the back, which I thought was like a really nice added step, because it basically says, here's what happened in the chapter in case you missed anything. And it also has the footnotes. So if there's things that you want to understand more, but honestly, you could understand it just reading the text. I also did the audiobook with Claire Danes, and I thought she did a really nice job as well. And then the movie portrayed it as what we would consider an epic today, like an epic hero. So he changed slight things about Odysseus's character so that he would feel like a hero to us. Because in this, some of the things I was reading, I was like, ooh, Odysseus has a temper or whatever. And that's the point, is that he's supposed to be a very layered character. But I thought that Christopher Nolan still did a good job of making him a layered character, but more modern in the sense of what we consider a hero today. If I had to say which one I liked better, I am going to be a little blasphemous and say the movie. I loved it. I loved it. I kept leaning over to my husband and I was like, I think this is becoming one of my favorite movies. I love movies, and I have like a short list of my all-time favorite movies, and this might make the list. Time will tell. I could go into all the details of what I loved about the book, what I loved about the movie, comparing and contrasting, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to leave it there for now. This whole reading experience has been so special. I mean, I got 3 4-star books and one 2-star, plus the other 10 Lore Olympus books, all of which were 4 stars. I don't know how to explain it. Like, each book individually, I would say is 4 stars, but the series as a whole, I would say is a 5-star experience. So I don't know exactly how to explain that. And getting to read these in the Bahamas in a setting that is similar-ish to Greece was really immersive. I really enjoyed that. Speaking of which, I haven't really shared on here before, but the Bahamas actually is a huge part of my life. My family has been going there for years and years. Like, my whole childhood, we went every single weekend and all summer long. Yes, you heard me correctly. And now that we're all grown and have families of our own, that's like the one time that we all go together, and it's just so fun. We had a blast. I hope you are soaking up these last few weeks of summer and enjoying the sunshine. Cheers.